This week on RSBANDB Update, construction training is finally fast enough, but is the skill actually better? We compare workbenches, contracts, and fort reinforcements, ask whether the mid-game rebalance fixes the mid-game, and begin theorycrafting Leagues 2. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, construction rates have been buffed or debuffed, depending on your perspective of where you want to train. Zerdone's welcome back, as per usual.
Howdy, always happy to be here.
And Lemon is also joining us to bring forth the numbers on the construction update, as well as the changes to the mid-game rebalance. But Lemon is the ranked 60th iron person in the world. So what are we looking at here in terms of raw construction XP rates? Let's start with the tables.
My favorite
like,
part.
how bad is it? Or how good is it?
Thing.
So, apart from the whole bit where we didn't end up with these releasing with the actual 120 expansion, we didn't get these until the following week for some reason. Anyway, things have actually landed in a pretty good place.
Like I clocked 2.3 mil an hour on Eternal long tables.
Yeah, that was really shocking to me. I have sort of begrudgingly been calling the new furniture construction method flat packs with a mustache because they are functionally just flat packs.
Yeah.
But those are not flat pack rates, right? Like
no, they're not. They're actually really good.
2.3 mil an hour is like, that's kind of what we come to expect from a 120 expansion, right?
Yeah, and you also put in that our mahoganies, if you wanted to do mahogany instead, are 1.2, which is, again, a very good high 90 and, early 100s rate. So it's not like the worst in the world. Yeah,
and that number is going to be after, I think level 99 is when you unlock the 50% time reduction for constructing them,
which is a big deal that came out this week.
Big step up, yeah.
And I see that as being very beneficial because you can pretty much get mahogany planks for free if you have the plank maker and you have your kingdom. You just set that up and go.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of XP per day that way, but if you just leave it, sort of chugging along in the background, which I tend to do, you end up with like a pretty decent, like pretty chill way to train construction. With the reduced time on mahogany, it's 45 seconds per inventory for the mahogany long tables, which is the highest plank item. Yep. And Eternals, you can only build 15 of them at a time. So you don't end up with as long as you could. If we had a greater expansion to the plank box, maybe when they give us more rewards for construction contracts, we'll get that. But that's 90 seconds, so that's like a pretty chill. I know that like AFK comes in like all different shapes and sizes, and people like to say that if you can't like drive to the grocery store and like pick up everything you need for dinner and then drive home, like it's not AFK. But like 90-second AFK is like really chill for me. Like that's a really great AFK thing.
Or like Pern says, vacuum your house.
Yeah, you can totally vacuum your house in 90-second intervals.
Yeah. And I think those are the two hallmarks to look at when you're looking at the long tables, is either Eternal or mahogany, and 2.2, 1.2 mil an hour. Nobody's going to bat an eye at that. And I think the thing that we need to look at and we need to really acknowledge is that the fort, I think, has been moved back into a early construction training as you do the quest kind of thing. Because we got the Eternal reinforcement at level 105 that came in this week, and I was wondering if I was doing this wrong. I was coming in at around 1.7 to 1.8 because the concentration was waning with my frames.
Yeah. Well, that's still bugged, isn't it?
Yeah,
there are still bugs with with visual bugs with
indicator,
the fort construction. Yeah,
that makes it a little challenging.
I have to say, fort construction fort construction is probably where it should have been all along. Um, I think that people are reticent to admit this, but I think that it's pretty clear that fort construction was overpowered for the effort that was required for it.
Well, I have
and
a
where it's
simple
at
theory
now is in a better place.
On that is that the fort was never meant to be a construction training method. It was a build at once as part of a series of rewards for the quests. Yet we were in a construction desert at the time. Players immediately wanted more construction updates, so they obliged and gave us all of that stuff at the fort to build.
Is that a theory? I could swear I've heard that said.
Really?
Or maybe I'm just remembering you and I'm misremembering my source.
Oh, I said it. I said it multiple times this week. Maybe that's why. Maybe you've internalized it like that.
Maybe.
But
source amnesia.
And I found this one really hard to measure because when you complete the reinforcement push, it spikes your raid on the rune metrics tracker all the way up to north of 2.8 million XP an hour. But obviously that's going to come down and stabilize to around 2 mil XP an hour if you have purchased your frames. Lemon, you said you imagine the Iron Man rates if you were making all your own frames from the beginning would be around 1.3.
Yeah, it's highly going to depend on how good you are at optimizing fort experience rates, which, in my humble opinion, are not a thing that really should be trying to optimize because it's a terrible training method if you try to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Fort construction, chasing the optimal hotspot for fort construction is like the worst skilling method that we have to offer. It's dull as nails, but you still need to actively be paying attention. Otherwise, you get actively punished. It's not like if you miss miss your rocker's unity by like 10 seconds.
Or if you forget to change time sprites.
Yeah, it's like there's a difference between, and this is like very much like a psychological thing, but there's a difference between like delaying getting a bonus and actively losing potential bonus, right? And it feels bad.
There's nothing fundamentally different between what we got and a situation where just if you follow the construction spray, you get 20% more XP.
Yeah.
Numerically, it's the same, but it does not feel the same.
Yeah, it's like the old World of Warcraft. It's like the quintessential example of this. The old World of Warcraft rested XP rates.
Yeah.
I don't think Fort is all that viable anymore, mostly because you just end up missing out on too much. So one of the really important things for Iron Man is like, the XP per hour is always important, but like, what is the XP per resource? And for the fort, excuse me, for the fort, I was getting just shy of 2,000 XP per plank, which is like, that's not bad. But you use a ton of planks and you don't really get that great XP per hour. But then if we go down to construction contracts, which I have my issues with construction contracts, I really do.
Yeah,
but
I had to go back to OS this week to just see how smooth theirs are compared to ours. Yeah. And now, for some reason, our construction contract rates scale based upon level now? Question mark?
I don't like that it does. I'm going to come back to that because like this is a whole tangent I want to get on later, but I want to finish up the conversation around XP rates. I don't like that it does that. But so I did some testing. I'm at 100. I was at 104 last week, 105 this week on my GIM. So I did testing at that. So Eternal Magic contracts, 1.9 mil an hour. So a little bit shy of the Eternal Magic long tables, but significantly better than the Iron Man rates for the fort reinforcement. And just a little bit over 2,000 XP per plank. And then because it scales again for some reason, at 120, you're looking at somewhere between 2 to 2.2 mil XP an hour. Contracts are one of those things that it's like very fiddly to optimize.
Yeah.
Partly because it's so clunky. And you're looking more at like 2.2k XP per plank, which is like really solid. One of the key complaints that people had last week when we had basically no real new construction methods added, was that you were getting terrible XP per plank making mahogany furniture, and that you would have to do, hundreds of millions of XP in order to get 120 construction or whatever, because the XP per plank was so much lower than the XP per plank for the XP per log for woodcutting. And this has really flipped that dynamic. So if you're somebody who does like doing the eternal short bows for construction like that, or for construction, for fletching, you can still now do both of those activities. You don't have to choose between which one you're doing, which is really nice for the people who do like that. We'll talk about fletching later, though.
Yeah, and the scaling XP rates do continue down to the mahogany planks as well, to the point at 105 or 104 you earmarked 850k an hour, and at 120 1.1 mil an hour. So I guess the general lay of the land here is that if you want to just have consistent XP rates, you're at the workbench. But if you want to make your planks and resources go further, you should probably do contracts.
Yep. Yeah, one of the ways that I used to think about construction a few years ago when I was doing 200 mil on my iron was like, I need to spend this amount of planks doing construction contracts in order to get to 200 mil. But if I have more left over than that, I can juice those planks doing build and destroy construction, RIP, and get some faster experience per hour if I've got extra resources. And you see a really similar thing playing out here, where contracts are still going to be faster, but if you do have excess planks left over, you can juice those for not necessarily faster experience, but more relaxed experience. Which is a good compromise.
And to me, I don't necessarily know that I like the flow of contracts. And I think my issue with RS3 contracts in general is that you have to have some mix of other items, including various bars all the way up to adamant. The candles and the cloth. And it's like, how do you manage an inventory to know what you're going to be able to do to extend your contract run for the longest? So I guess if I was just going to summarize those XP rates again for the construction rebalancing this week: eternal long tables at the workbench, 2.2 mil XP an hour, or the advertised 580 a plank. Mahogany's down to 1.2 with that. Then construction contracts, of course, scale based on your level now, which is new. Around 1.9 mil XP an hour at 105, and 2 to 2.2-ish at 120 with Eternals, and then a little bit less going between 850 and 1.1 mil if you wanted to use Mahoganies instead. And when you look at all of that, is that a comfortable XP rate for construction to get a skill like that to 120?
Yeah. I think it's very appropriate, especially in the context that OSRS has like pretty comparable, putting Eternal Magics aside, OSRS has pretty comparable experience rates to what we have for Mahogany with their build and destroy, and what we had for our build and destroy, and now what we have with our workbench furniture. And the thing with construction is that it's always been very resource intensive, but it's been high experience rates. And now we've had so much experience creep over the years that Eternal Magics haven't necessarily, there are certainly skills that are faster than that don't require as many resources and all of that. But I think it hits a much more balanced perspective for, I'm going to say resources. I don't know what the cost of these things are, obviously, but it feels a lot more reasonable, whereas construction historically has been very expensive to train.
Eternals planks were going for about 11k yesterday when I checked.
Yeesh.
11K.
Yeah.
So if we're doing
for one. So, that's why I pointed out very early on in this discussion, Kingdom.
It's like 19 GP per XP.
Very, very good.
I don't know if that's good anymore or not, or I don't know how that ranks with everything anymore. It feels like skilling has gotten so cheap over the years.
Which I mean is a good thing when we're being asked to go to 120. I wish we could only be in the same boat for taking things like the legacy combat stats to 120. But
well, those are pretty fast if you don't do them the stupid way, like some people. Not naming names.
What's the stupid way?
Am I part of stupid?
No, I'm ragging on myself.
Oh, I see. Yes, you and your insane. I'm gonna get 120 melees doing
exclusively Wilderness Slayer.
Wilderness Slayer, the most obnoxious way to train Slayer. And you didn't even get any cores from that, which was so upsetting. It was so upsetting to me.
It's upsetting to me too.
So
I was so sad. I was actually legitimately angry.
So what's the deal here in terms of the general state of construction training? Because I feel like we were all sad last week, and I ignored.
We were all sad last week. Well, it was a sad state of affairs.
I wanted to ignore the sadness last week because I was so happy with the house.
Listen, some of us were not happy with the house. Some of us didn't care about the house. If we had the training method update that we got this week, last week with the rest of the update to the skill, there would have been a lot less complaining about the update. Let me just say that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And there are still people who are complaining about the way contracts have been integrated. Like, people have been complaining for years that there's no additional rewards for construction after you unlock the outfit in the plank box. You can still get points, but you can't do anything with them. There's no
there's no consumable,
supplies,
there's no
consumables
big ticket
or anything.
Item.
And that's still the case. Construction, Eternal Magic planks give the same amount of points as mahogany does. Like, why? Why doesn't it give one more like the rest of them do? Each tier increase it by one. Like, that's just a small potatoes thing. I know there's nothing to spend it on, but like, come on, you know?
I think contracts. One thing that's been stuck in my craw for the last couple of days is I remember when contracts came out, and I think it was Mod Raven saying we built this system to be extensible, something we can add on to later. And then that was 4 years ago?
You know,
well, the reason that didn't happen is because the fort happened.
We've heard the same thing about the construction update last week, right?
Yeah. Yes, you're right, Shane. The reason that didn't happen is because the fort happened. But still, like, you made this system to be extendable. Extend it.
Yeah. And for the love of God, look at what OS did with their quality of life update to the contracts in 2024, to the point that getting contracts is now just a very clear loop, and you're not taken out of it at all. And I think we use too many resources in our contracts. They don't use candles, they don't use cloth.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff to carry around your inventory, but in terms of the amount that you use, it's really not that bad, especially for the experience you get. The thing that bothers me there are two main things that bother me about construction contracts. One is that every time you interact with a build hotspot, it pops up a menu and you have to select which one that you want to build of the 5 tiers.
That's one of them.
I never want to build anything other than the highest tier.
Yeah,
so why do you keep asking me? I think that's a big problem. And the other big problem is you spend you build up this bar, and then at the end of it, that's when you perform the construction action. So you've completed the bar, but then you get locked into the build animation.
Yeah, there's some animation.
It feels like you should be moving on to the next thing at that point, but you're stuck there, and I find that very frustrating.
Yeah, it's a weird animation jank. I think it was designed assuming an interaction model that didn't actually materialize.
To make it it might be like a mining and smithing kind of interaction deal, then maybe.
Kind of. Well, like, because to Lemon, to your first point about why does it prompt you every time what you want to make, like, I feel like it was built on the assumption, or is designed with the assumption that you're going to go and hell or high water, you're going to finish it. So if you run out of mahogany planks, you're going to finish it with teak. You're not going to run to the bank to get more mahogany planks. But let's be real. We're going to the bank to get more mahogany planks because that's how the rewards are designed.
It doesn't matter if you did 4/5 of the thing with mahogany and 1/5 with teak.
Right.
Whatever the lowest thing was is what you're getting rewarded based off of.
Right. So yeah, I'm taking the 5 seconds to go to the damn bank.
For folks watching on YouTube, I am detailing how simple the OSRS Mahogany Homes construction contracts are.
Click, click, click.
Why are you clicking twice? Oh, it's remove and then build. Okay, I gotcha.
It's so simple. It's so sleek.
It really is. And then when it's done,
you are still using bars.
Then all you do when you're done is you just talk to the NPC. You get your XP, you get a cup of tea, you fire off your NPC contact, and away you go, barring any kind of
do not allow Google Chrome to find devices on your network.
And then immediately right off the bat, you just get a brand new contract from the NPC contact specialist just by tabbing through it. Then the plugin highlights where you go next. You take a little while to run there, as I had the wrong GE teleport set up there in Varrock. And then bam, it just repeats. And that is my biggest complaint with the RS3 construction contracts, is that they're needlessly complex when they're not engaging to be that complex. And I came around to this after playing with the so-called active training at the fort this week. I was, like saying, well, you're just following a sparkle, right? It can't be that bad. And when you're dealing with a building that takes, 25 minutes to build, it is kind of bad. Mm-hmm. So neither of the active forms of what's the word? Not integration, just the active forms of gameplay in this skill up to this point are that mentally stimulating compared to, just being able to get into a nice flow state and train for these skills. And that is my biggest, I think, thing that construction on RS3 is missing, is that we're missing like a real active training method at this point. Because I'm content to call either the fort at its most AFK, an AFK training method, even if it's not that great on XP. But even then, as we showed, the furniture workbench training really isn't that bad for the kind of integration and attention it demands.
Yeah.
So it's my hope that we get to a slightly better spot than we are right now. But I don't think it's the worst out of all the skills that we have. Do you guys kind of agree with that sentiment?
Oh, it's definitely not the worst.
I mean, there's a lot of competition for the worst. I would say that it's the most needlessly frustrating. Like if they just changed like 2 things about contracts, they would feel so much better.
Yeah.
And it feels like that would, I don't know anything about game development, right? I don't know the first. The only programming I have ever done is in Visual Basic, right? Like I'm not a programmer. But like it seems to me like this shouldn't be a complicated fix. It just says it's not on the priorities, and maybe it should be on the priorities considering we just got a construction update, and this is the best way to train. One of the 3 ways to train the skill, but I hope that we can. There have been some really big structural issues with the game that we are fixing this year, but there are a lot of like tiny little friction points, and not good friction points, very frustrating friction points that you find when you engage with this game.
Zerdones, there's that word again. I'm not allowed to say.
I would love to
that
fix
they say in the UK.
What word?
Oh, I'm not allowed to say.
I didn't even hear it.
No. There's a word to describe what Lemon has just said, but it's a word I'm not allowed to say.
Yeah,
in
I know the word you're referring to. I didn't hear Lemon say it.
No, Lemon did not say it, but I could say it right now, but I'm not going to.
Anyway,
no. Shane is not allowed to say that word.
Shall we move on to a different rant that I have in mind?
Please.
Wait, yeah. Before we, I assume you're referring to the mid-game update.
No. So I've one point that falls out of
rants.
Out of the construction update. So you mentioned earlier that for some inexplicable reason, the experience reward that you get for doing construction contracts scales based on your level. Why? Why does it do that? Also, aside from the aside, why was that never? Why were these changes not in the patch notes? Like that was a change that was made. There was a change that was to the fort that was made. Those weren't in the patch notes. Why were those not in the patch notes? What are the patch notes for?
And see, that's the thing. We're kind of at the point now where there's these weird changes happening to the game that aren't communicated in patch note, which is a marked determination regression from where things used to be. Thank you. We're having all kinds of word problems here today on that.
We speak English real good.
Yeah.
We good talkers.
But the point that I wanted to make is that there has been a tendency to smooth things out in the game to a degree that feels almost sanitized, and like this construction contracts experience scales with your level is one of those things, right? One of the things that to me is very like core to what RuneScape is the notion of breakpoints. And we used to have that a lot, and we don't have them to the degree that we did anymore. I will say that we still maintain those in the traditional furniture construction method. Like when you unlock long tables, those are meaningfully better than round tables. You're going from either 4 or 6 planks, whatever the round tables are, up until eight planks. They take the same amount of time to build, but when you get to a new level, you have a resource that is fast, that you're getting more XP per build action out of. That's like a meaningful breakpoint, instead of this smooth progression where it's like, yeah, every level you just get like 2, I'm just making up the number, you get 2% more experience. It's like, well, why? That doesn't make sense. Like going from mahogany to eternals, like that's a massive breakpoint. That's great. But like, why do we have this smooth stair step of this experience? It just doesn't make sense.
And that was in the graph this week too. I think Zerdones, you mentioned, has Jagex forgot curves?
That graph is not. This is not a good graph. Can I can we agree on this? This is not a good graph.
Oh, of course it's not.
Yeah. The first time I saw this, my brain immediately went to, oh yeah, we really love squares, don't we? We love squares so much we've forgotten that curves exist.
We have like the communication this year with Mod Anvil coming on board. Like communication has gotten a lot better. Communication has been a big issue over the years, but like, my God, it is night and day looking at a chart like this. And then you look at the changes that OSRS will propose on a blog post, and they have like, this is the difference in XP per item, this is the XP for per hour change, and like all this minutia of detail that it's just like, we have a useless chart. I can't even read that. What the hell is it trying to communicate?
There's no numbers on the side. It just tells you what's best.
I know. And it doesn't even tell you what's best.
Well, it tells you what's intended to be best.
Which here is apparently Fort active.
Pull that back up to look at it. I looked at it and I just like removed it from my memory.
Okay. We've been
I will say, I don't think it's necessarily, Lemon, I hear what you're saying about it. The amount of detail that old school gets in their proposals is a market departure. I will say, I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, because like, I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to surface numbers to players and expect players to have the numbers in their minds. Shane, why are you laughing? What did I do?
It's the entire philosophy of the game, Zerdones.
I mean, yes, I know.
I'm laughing because you're right, and but if you try and tell an old school player that, you're burned at the stake.
I mean, the whole point of these blogs is to communicate like what is changing and why things are changing.
Sure.
But if this graph doesn't communicate that. And like this graph is a microcosm of this, but like there's communication without any wood behind the arrow, if we're gonna use a fletching metaphor.
Nice tie-in.
You know, like if you look at this, what Fort active it's the number that's on the top. Presumably, it must be the best then. But we talked about the experience rates at the top of the show. Like it's not the best XP per hour, and it's not the best XP per plank. Like what are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that there couldn't be improvements to the communication. I don't think we need to go to the level of like XP per hour breakdowns and deltas and all that. Like, yes, this is a confusing graph and it doesn't match.
We did get that for the mid-game
testing
update, right? We got that for the fletching retier.
I know we did. I know we did. And I don't necessarily think we should have.
I'm sorry. I need to come clean with everybody. We're trying some things with the show open format, and you guys will conveniently note that it's worked. We're 28 minutes in, 31 minutes in now, and I haven't even thanked our wonderful Experience Tier Patreon members. I was supposed to do that after the first bout of XP rates, but we got too excited. So this week, I would like to, of course, thank everybody who is an Experience Tier Patreon member right now, including Amos Reed, Blade Gum, Dominic R, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Keski Plays, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A, Psyoasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. You'll hear more about our expanded Patreon offerings a little bit later in the podcast, because we've been having so much fun doing what we've been doing right now. So if you want to follow along and check out any of our notes, those can be found over at update.show, friends chatting game at Bits Bytes, and the community Discord is update.show/Discord. I don't know. It's an eternal dilemma, right? Like, do you show the XP rates or do you not?
I think if you're not going to, you should not bother doing any of this. But they're obviously bothering to do this, right? We're getting the details of like this agility course has been changed by, this percentage. The new amount is this. The XP, actually, I don't remember if they gave us XP per hour on they did.
They did.
They did, yeah.
And like that's good. Like we can look at this and be like, okay, this is digestible information. But like at minimum, I think we can all agree that when they make changes, they should put them in the patch notes. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time that's happened this year.
No.
And like I let me take a step back. They're all very busy. Keeping track of all the changes, I'm sure, is a lot more ticky-tacky and a lot more you have to be a lot more cognizant than maybe I give it credit for. They have difficult jobs, and I thank them for the work that they're doing. But please, I want to know what the changes are. That's why I read the patch notes.
I'll be honest, I always thought the patch notes were at least semi-auto-generated. Like I was always under the impression that they were like generated from the Jira board.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That seems to be the sense that was going on there. And it's like all of a sudden that changed with the news post.
In Jira, they should know what tickets are part of the release build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like just from an SDLC project management perspective, that should be very much part of the Jira release.
It's just a question of how to present that to players.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it seems like information isn't making it back into the system. Somebody's changing something, and it's not getting to the place where the community managers are pulling from when they make the patch notes.
Yeah.
But,
and I don't know what their release management process looks like. Things fall through the cracks. It happens. We're all humans.
Yeah, and I mean we just have
as far
to give
as
them
we know.
we have to give them credit for the progress that has been made, because they're not all just
100%.
working, on one branch of the game like they were as early as 2012. So
yeah, and like
a shared file system.
Yeah,
and like I said before, like the communication that we have gotten this year is like head and shoulders above, what it has been in the past few years. It's really, really great. But there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, then that's the classic RSBANDB update segue. Turn something bad into something good for the game. Okay.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, the mid-game rebalance, and we debated countless times about whether or not the dash remains as part of this update. We're not going to relitigate a lot of this stuff because we did this 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
most of what was there,
the 2 week ago episode.
Most of what was there is in here. And I think the thing that I really wanted to hone in on, since we were on the fletching or on the construction XP discussion, is that we were wondering if anything was going to materially change for construction, or for fletching. For fletching.
We're off construction.
We were wondering if anything was going to materially change for fletching XP rates. And the answer to that is that broad arrows still reign supreme. Largely, there are other options out there when it comes to looking at arrows in terms of XP per hour. Like you could do primal if you wanted to. You could do Elder Rune if you wanted to.
I would not recommend it.
You could do Bane if you wanted to. But the primal process of smithing those arrowheads, remember, requires 10 ore to get 5 primal bars. The Elder Rune, you're going to need the rune bar, plus the light and dark animicas. The Banes is probably the simplest of the approach. And I think the thing that we walk away from on this is that you could, but just because you can doesn't mean you should when you have things like broad arrows.
Yeah, the real issue with you can smith your own arrowheads in order to then use them for fletching. The issue is if you do that instead of doing burial smithing, either in sets or just, if you're doing gloves or boots, because that's the more AFK option, you're foregoing a lot of experience by doing that.
Yeah.
The exact number depends on what tier of metal you're looking at, but it's about 3 times the experience. You're getting about 3 times more experience per bar making burial armor than you are making arrows, because you get more XP per bar doing burial smithing. That's the whole point of it. And also it's faster XP per hour as well. So there's a really high opportunity cost for doing either bolts or arrowheads. And the benefit is, in terms of training, the benefit is that you don't have to do broad arrowhead shop runs, but you only have to do them once a week now.
I was going to say, made them simpler.
Yeah, so it's broads are expensive, but they're not that expensive, right?
And I think the other thing I wanted to highlight here is that if you're not in the market or the ability to create the Dine arrows, we now have arrows going up to those high tier 90 and tier 100 tiers that are options that you can use for ammunition if you didn't want to go the full Dine arrow path, which I think is good.
Yeah, like it's I was saying in pre-show that we keep calling this a fletching update, right? Because these are changes to the fletching skill, but this is really a ranged rebalance, not a fletching rebalance.
Without the tier 60 bow, use a crossbow instead at level 60.
I was curious to see what exactly they would do for the change drop table for Flesh Hatcher, and they have just replaced it with the crossbow, which I find very frustrating, actually, because you don't get any ammunition. He dropped
the Elder Shortbow periodically, didn't he?
It was the Elder Shortbow, now it's the Orichalcum two-handed crossbow.
Okay.
But there's no bolts on the drop table, and to whatever degree we want to say that the arrows that the arrowheads that were dropped before were relevant, They really weren't. I mean, they were adamant. But you don't get any unfinished bolts that were drawn. Like I think there's an opportunity here to provide ammo as well as the bow is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good change.
And while we're on the topic of ammo, make it so that the orichalcum through primals can be tipped. They don't necessarily need to be tippable with the exact same tips all across the board, but I was definitely, seeing some theory crafting about how, maybe sapphires tipped orichalcum or, emerald tipped necronium bolts could be interesting. And the reason I mention this is that OSRS has dragon bolts that are tippable. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, with this, you're going from rune that is tippable across the gamut all the way up to back criminal, which is a level 90. So there is that huge gap there if you want to have any of the special effects. And I remember back in the day how important things like diamond and ruby were, and even more so in this day and age. If you're fighting something that's poisonable, emeralds can slap quite hard.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. Obviously, that would have been a lot more work to add to this project.
Balancing, I think, is the bigger.
Yeah, but I mean, like, crossbows need that in general, right? Crossbows are very much lagging behind compared to arrows. At least
that's fair.
Game power.
That's fair because it was the other way around for so long. Not
untrue.
Arrows can have their moment in the sun.
Yeah,
a couple of years in the sun.
Yeah, but it's if we're making crossbows an option, we should actually make crossbows a more viable option. This goes to what you were saying earlier, Zunones, about how we should actually do a
weapon diversity.
Thank you. Yes.
Bring back weapon diversity.
Yeah. So
I mean, why do we have 6 different ranged weapons? Explain it to me.
There's no
probably
difference.
More than 6. I'm probably
There's
forgetting.
no difference between the short and longbow unless you want an extra +1 ranged.
I think it's more than +1. Longbows are +1 over what shield bows were, which were already more than the short bows.
I think it's +3. Yeah. I think it's +3 range. And the other difference is longbows can have the sights added that increases their accuracy.
That is a nice addition. I have to point out, since we're talking about that reminded me, one of the weird things with ammo and weapons is that let's talk about tooltips. So everybody will be aware that, like, if you want to equip a magic shortbow, well, I guess maybe everybody won't be aware because they just changed this. A magic shortbow now requires 80 range to equip, but it's a level 75 weapon. It's tier 80 because it requires level 80 to equip, but the damage and accuracy are tier 75.
But that's kind of the same thing we have with the smithable swords.
It is, except there are no tier 75
smithable swords.
Bolts or arrows.
Yeah.
So I mean, if
ammo is all on level
10
level bands.
Yeah, if you've got level 80 range, you can equip the magic shortbow, and you can't equip level 80 arrows. But, like, none of this is clear by looking at the tooltip. It's not clear that if you're using level 80 arrows with your level 80 bow that you're going to be doing tier 75 damage. It's not great. It's a mess. I would have much preferred we looked at fixing that rather than the retiering that we did.
Yeah,
here,
and
never mind. I'm not
and
in charge of these
this
things.
does open the door again for more old school inspired content in the form of things like the summer sweep up or the combat changes that they did a number of years ago. Project Rebalance, it was called. So yeah,
and I'm sure we're not saying anything that the developers aren't already aware of themselves.
It's just a matter of,
it's just a question.
I honestly think it was just probably a matter of time
to do it.
To get this
matter
in.
Of prioritization.
Yeah.
With the big update that is going to be bringing all the friends home after RuneFest.
We'll see what that is.
Yes, whatever that mysterious.
I think a lot of theories on that are going to be wrong, but we're not going to know which ones are until.
And hopefully they're not going to be so wrong that they're disappointing.
Anachronia's agility course got more buffed compared to what we were initially told. So that Anachronia full now tops out at 210,000 approximate XP an hour for agility.
This is one of those really weird things where, remember how I was talking about? It depends on how fast you do the course, right?
Yeah.
If you assume 6.5 minute laps, which is like if you're like training agility and you're like in it for the long haul and you're learning how to like effectively do the course, like that's a reasonable time. You're looking at like 360k XP an hour.
I think my best was like
also,
7 minutes 20 seconds. I think my best was like 7 minutes 20 seconds.
Oh, honey, we gotta work on your searches.
I know.
But high-end rates, we're looking at 360k an hour, and also you can get another 20% on top of that when you're on 4. And also you can use Brawlers for another 75% on that course completion bonus.
I have a controversial thing to say maybe about this.
Please do.
I think that's okay, because that is skill in terms of movement.
Yeah.
To have it be able to flex like that from the advertised 210.
Yeah, I mean, I think
100%.
one of the limitations of all this balancing discussion is Jagex can't balance around every player. Like they have to have a target level, and then that's going to shift up or down depending on who exactly is doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other interesting thing about this is that if you look at this entire table of agility courses here, a lot of these are god awful because they're ancient. And I was looking at this, and I think that the agility meta is going to come down to, if you're going for your double surge, double escapes, or you want to play more actively, that's Anachronia. But if you're wanting something that's just a little bit less click intensive, I think you're back to Heffen, which at the ultra high end, nothing has changed from previously on that, just the XP numbers in terms of where you're going to train, rather.
Yeah. I would say that after all of, if we look at like, if you're using Brawlers and if you're using Roar, like the experience rates for agility are really good now.
That's a load-bearing if.
Those are load-bearing ifs, right? We have made a big concerted effort this year in terms of moving away from dailies because dailies were bad, making the feeling that you had to go and do your chores. How do we feel about when Roar is active and you get 20% more agility XP? Do you think we should drop what we're doing and go train agility?
Well, that's the thing.
That feels like a chore.
That's the thing of what it was supposed to be. And this just reinforces to me what this mid-game rebalance update and the early game rebalance update are all about. It's about filling the gaps that removing dailies and treasure hunter leaves behind. It was never going to be about bringing integrity to the actual skill training methods and making the mid-game feel more meaningful. It's clear now that it was never going to be about that. It's just about filling those gaps that was left behind by things like the removal of treasure hunter and dailies. And if we want to, have a more broad mid-game experience, then that's something, that we need to start talking about, and, bring forward as players in the surveys and whatnot that we want, because it's clear that what they meant in relation to integrity was removing dailies and just making the game more approachable, and not necessarily an integrity pass on whether or not the mid game isn't mid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does feel, as we have gotten through this year, that the goal is to make it so that mid game is smooth and not strictly frictionless, but like an easy experience, right? That you're not going to get like hard stuck training agility at 20k XP an hour, god awful rates.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the correct decision, but I'm not the one making the calls. So
No, and the thing is, like, we don't know what the, like, well, I was going to say we don't know what the true goal is. But obviously, right now, this pushes people towards the end game, which, if we're being honest, is PVM, which was also the subject of an update earlier this year. So it really does raise the question, are we comfortable with pushing people to that end game at this point in time?
I mean, I don't care for agility specifically. I don't think there's anything that needs to be protected.
Well, I mean,
agility.
like broadly,
So,
move from that mid game towards the end game where we are, that sort of thing, to move people quicker.
I mean, I understand why Jagex would want to do it, both from a development perspective and from marketing perspective. Like, it's easier as a product developer, it's easier when all of your customers are in the same bucket. So like it's easier to develop content if you know sort of where your audience is. It's a lot harder to, especially given that we do have such a vocal endgame player base, it is hard to do content that is meaningfully mid-game because, like, look at what happened with Het's Oasis, for example.
Yeah.
Or Garden of Carid, where either it has to be massively OP or it has to have some god-awful trim grind on it. Otherwise, players like, say, for example, me will bounce off of it in 5 seconds and will go, okay, Jagex, where's my next one?
Yeah,
and that's not sustainable either.
Right,
yeah,
and as
that's
an
kind of what we saw
example
with Havenhide, right?
Of what I wanted to do with that is I compared OSRS versus RS3 fletching, and the big differences between OSRS fletching and RS3 fletching. Let's just put the fletching retier on the side of the table for a moment and compare as things were last week. The big differences between fletching in both those games were that in OSRS, one of the preferred fletching methods was actually tick manipulation to cut bows as one of the preferred training methods. That was one aspect of it. And the other one came in with part 2 of Varlamore with the Veil Totems minigame, which acts as a sink for fletching materials and provides very decent XP rates from the mid-level around 50 to 60 all the way up into the 80s and 90s, while also providing novel rewards like a bowstring spool and a fletcher's knife that gives you those faster fletching tick rates on unstrung bows. And before this week, those were the only material differences between RS3 and OSRS fletching. So the fletching skill itself was largely the same. The thing that we then start looking at is that discussion about combat in terms of why the fletching retier was done, and we see why we got to our conclusion that it doesn't really help the XP rates or the way you materially train fletching. And the entire aspect of this is that mid-game in OSRS is just so much more broad and so much harder to step up those stairs that the training methods there had to be designed to scale to it. Whereas here, our mid-game training methods are designed to scale you directly towards whatever is high-end fastest. So there is no materially changing RS3 fletching to make the mid-game more meaningful without a fundamental rethink of what the skill and skills like it look like, including, agility, since we've discussed those two so far. So,
well, and realistically, I don't think, to whatever extent you think old school system is better, I don't think we can get to a system like that in RS3 without pissing off a lot of people.
Exactly. And we know that this year is not about that.
And
it's
I will
not. I thought we certainly pissed off a lot of people this year.
Well, nominally, it's about threading the needle. How successfully they've done that is an open question. I will maybe risk controversial opinion and say that I'm not,
Please
again, not
do.
entirely convinced that the old school way is better because, and this is very much an outsider's perspective, so I could very well be speaking from ignorance here, but I feel like old school has a real problem adding new content
Yes,
because of the fact that
specifically skilling content. Yeah.
because of the fact that they need to keep everything relevant makes it really, really, really hard. Like they just really don't have. There's a point where you run out of space.
Well, that's why you
Put
got a
stuff
mini
in.
game here, a mini game there for things like RuneCrafting and Herblore in OS.
Yeah, I don't remember which. It was either Mod Arcane or Mod Price. I think it was Mod Arcane who said on Reddit, this was many months ago at this point, that one of the reasons why they are so protective about skilling is that as you add more stuff, you necessarily are making it faster.
Sure.
Most of the time, right? There are ways that you can add new methods that are
Sure.
worth doing, but are slower. But like most of the time, right? If you add like a meaningfully better new tool, like that meaningfully reduces. If you add in, if the crystal pick was actually good, an upgrade to the pickaxe can meaningfully reduce the amount of time that you need to spend mining. It just makes it faster, and there's no addition of any challenge or complexity. So like with combat, you can have power creep, but then you can make more difficult bosses.
Yeah.
And there's this stair stepping. But if you make experience rates faster, you're still 99 is still the cap.
Yeah.
And they're not increasing that. And even if they did increase that,
you're only kicking the can.
You're only kicking the can, right? We're to the point where we're kicking the can on everything, either to 110 or 120. But we're long past the point where like that's a meaningful increase because so many people are already there to begin with.
Yeah. And that's why we need to. And I don't know. Like, I don't even know what mod we would ask this question to. Maybe this is a Mod Ryan question now, since he seems to inhibit that same spot that Mod Jack used to have. But like, what is the goal here? Are we to get to all 99s and 120s and then go PVM? Is that what we're supposed to do? Is that what the mid game is trying to have us do?
I think that's a great question. I think there has been a certain point in the past where that has been true, where you would ideally get into PVM. The degree that to people who meaningfully do that, I think, has been lacking. And then there's been trim, there's been comp, which is like
the insane stretch goals that are meant to be for the lunatics.
Right. And we've talked about this before, the three types of end games in RS, 120s, 200 mils, comp, trim, master quest, or PVM achievements.
Yeah. Yeah, like we've meaningfully increased the amount of stuff there is to do in PVM with collection logs, and then this past year with combat achievements.
And now,
but
trophies.
Those are very much not for everybody. Trophies again. Yeah. It's collection logs except slightly different.
Collection logs except not.
Yeah, it's not on the collection log, but if you want it, you still got to go and get it the same way you would anyway. So.
Yep.
So. That is, the entire discussion that comes around with this update. What is mid-game content? So, and where does that all land? Yeah. I was hoping we'd have a better answer as a result of it, but it appears we do not. So,
yeah. Part of the issue with this is like fixing the mid-game in a way that OSRS has managed to have a meaningful mid-game is something that is beyond the scope of even like a single year, let alone a single update.
You basically got to re-envision what RS3 is at that point, I think.
Yeah, you do. And people do not take it charitably when I say that you need to like make experience rates slower, but like you can't have a meaningful mid game if you just skip right past it. And for a lot of skills, that's the case.
Yep.
So,
and it's clear that the mid game rebalance and the early game rebalance, and now probably the late game rebalance, are going to be looking at all of that, and there's nothing going to be, you know, effectively curtailed down. It seems as though that most of this stuff is just brought up, and that is one of the big things we were wondering about. Was it going to be a year of nerfs as a result of that? And I think, you know, we know that the answer mostly on that is going to be no. I know we said we didn't want to relitigate all this, but I think those are all different points than they were
yeah,
pretty well
previous weeks. But they also removed all the negative invention perks. So these are things like anti-theism, profane, inaccurate, junk food, demon bait, fatiguing, mediocrity, cheapskate, confused, and so on and so forth.
All ones that you would virtually never want to have for any reason.
And virtually is the key word there because there are niche uses.
I think cautious is the only one I can think of that had a niche use, so I'm excited to be educated.
When would you want to use cautious?
Isn't cautious
makes it so you don't auto retaliate?
Yeah, so
or you can't auto retaliate rather.
So not so much anymore, but I was at one point toying with putting cautious on like an Excalibur offhand for wilderness when PvP was still a thing in the wilderness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. The main thing that people have been talking about this week is cheapskate specifically. There are mostly for rune crafting, there are some niche use cases where it's easier to obtain a higher tier item and then you can downgrade it. There are also some implications for skillers where like soul runes you wouldn't have access to because you wouldn't have the requisite quests, but you could do time runes and then downgrade them. I'm not entirely sure what a skiller would need time runes, would need soul runes for anyway. It's not like you can use magic, so like I don't know. I guess maybe for making vuln bombs. Again, I don't know what a skiller is using vuln bombs for, except for massive amounts of herblore experience. Yeah. So I guess there's that.
Yeah. I thought so. I thought the transmutation.
There are non-zero uses.
Interesting. So, but. Was that the only one?
Those ones, I think there was a lot more interesting. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All
right, fair enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And the other stuff that...
I mean, reality is...
Go ahead, Sir Duns.
I mean, reality is like, it's the old XKCD joke. You can never make a change that's not going to break somebody's workflow.
Yeah.
Based on what you described... I'm sorry, people who are upset about this. I don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. I like if you wanted to make soul runes on an account that wouldn't otherwise have access to crafting soul runes, it's like you can just make blood runes and use polishing. It's not as good experience, right? Because you're getting
quest with lots of combat behind it.
Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, I take it back.
But doesn't the wild runes perk or whatever at the air altar kind of
yeah, I mean
fit this
wild
niche?
Runes is, I mean, like it would serve the purpose. Wild runes is pretty bad, but you could do it. I don't know.
All right,
get your herblore XP somewhere else is really kind of how I feel about all this.
Yeah, they also did a pass on luck. They added
that seems reasonable.
Luck chance modifiers for dragon pickaxes when killing chaos dwarves and dwogers. They added luck drop chance modifiers on unchecked dinosaur eggs, though that was a problem in the past, not so much anymore. The gout tuber.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be a Luke's task, by the way.
Notorious.
Our dear friend Snail Mage specifically went out and got the gout tuber for the Karanja Diary because of this change. So good for him.
Yes.
And offhand Kopesh and Saren symbols should now display the correct message in chat about obtaining them in drop rates. So
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
yay, Saren symbols.
Most everything else was in the mid-game rebalance as advertised early on for that. So, well, what's around the corner? In just over 2 weeks' time, it is Leagues 2 Equilibrium. We're going to talk about all of that, but before that, big huge thank you to all of our Patreon members right now, including Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Bladeclum, Chilbura, Dominic R, Duramax, Forceful Turd, Gila Fleur, Imperialis, Jay Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Kesky Plays, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Mattman, Mighty Myth, Michelle M, Mike Wings, Mongrath, Pernacius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Samuel FL, Sanguinarix, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Oasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, Squidman 8, The Naked Captain, The Davin Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. If you're wondering what all this is about, patreon.com/RSBNB. There, starting for as little as $1 a month, you can, of course, support RSBANDB Update and everything that we do here. And for doing that, you get access to a back catalog of 96 plus other monthly bits. Those are monthly bonus episodes that we do. And as part of that, you also get Patreon voting rights on upcoming monthly bits topics. As you guys are hearing this right now, barring any form of catastrophe after we record this, you should see up on the Patreon website a poll for the August monthly bid. Go there and vote. Voting is very important. Right, Zerdones?
Vote early, vote often.
That's right. And if you want to vote often with this, that means make more Patreon accounts, but you don't need to do that.
Yes, give us more money.
One vote's enough. Then we have the RSBB Update community tier for $3 a month, where you get a VIP rank, special Discord channel, and a monthly shout out at the top of the month, plus high quality stereo versions of the podcast. And from time to time with this, we'll also ask you for ideas on anything and everything, including monthly bit ideas, discussion topics for quiet weeks, and of course you get to take part in our community nights. Then we have the Insider tier, where for $5 a month, you get a weekly shout-out on the show and expanded access to the clip archive that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year, plus expanded clips that didn't make the show that pop up in pre- or post-show. And, of course, with this, you also receive the RSBANDB Update Christmas card every December. Patreon.com/RSBANDB. Thanks so much, everyone. All right. So, August 10th, we know now for certain that's when Leagues 2 Equilibrium launches. This is something I think that more and more people are going to get excited about as we progress this. So to, I guess, just summarize this up for people who are wondering, what exactly is a league? You end up with a 8-week-long, thereabouts, temporary game mode, supercharged XP rates, supercharged drop rates, supercharged progression, various relics that mutate how you play the game. Now we're having a new set of mutators coming in with the combat blessings this time around, all augmented by region locking in RS3, meaning you'll get to start off with Mistlin and Havenhithe. Later on after that, you'll unlock Karamja, and then you'll get to pick 3 other regions as you make your way through League's Equilibrium. So that is what a league is. It arrives on August 10th. I'll be playing it. Zerdones, you're in, you mentioned.
Yep, I'm in.
Lemon, I assume the theory crafting's already begun?
Oh, yes.
Right on. So what are we looking for as we theory craft this time?
Oh, boy.
We need to pick regions this time. We know that much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we know which regions we have to choose from.
Which is good, I think.
Yeah, good way to start.
That we have that entire list associated with that. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we pick relics first once we know what the relics are going to be. Then from that, we fill in the gaps with our regions, whether we want more skilling-focused regions, more combat-focused regions. And then on top of that, you will probably want to pick a combat blessing path that makes the most sense towards your own playstyle with that. I think we start with relics this time, if I'm being honest. I don't think the regions come first. What do you guys think?
It depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Really. One of the things on the PVM side of things, one of the big decision makers is already made for us. Most of the end game stuff is in Misthalin, and we get Misthalin.
Right.
So
yeah, get Elder God Wars for free.
Yep. We get included in Misthalin, presumably.
Right. Presumably.
It doesn't appear separate on the map, and the hourglass to get into hourglass, the portal to get into is in Draenor, which is included in Misthalin. So it feels like the thing that we might have been missing for PVM is like, if you want to get a Zuck Cape, you got to go to Karamja. So it's like, was it going to be worth taking Karamja for that? Well, you don't have to make that decision because they made it for us.
Yeah, yep. And I was going to say is that they're taking that from OS, that everybody's going to get Karamja as their first region no matter what.
Yeah.
So that doesn't detract from your count of 3. So
no.
Yeah. So it's. I said this last year when people were saying, "Oh, I don't like this league; it's not region locked." RS3 kind of doesn't lend itself very well on the PVM side to region locking,
and I
most of the stuff is pretty concentrated.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I hate to throw any shade on this before we get it, but there's a very real chance that this doesn't work.
Yes, and that's fine. Like.
Yeah.
The whole point of leagues is like trying stuff out, and like if it doesn't work, then they just don't do it again.
Yeah. So I
think most people are going to take the desert for God Wars 2, and they're going to take the wilderness for dungeoneering, and then they're going to take one other thing. Maybe it's Prith. I don't see many people taking Fremnik.
No, I think Frem is kind of the meme pick.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what is there?
Dagannoth Kings?
Because here's the thing.
Dagannoth Kings and Miscellanea. And
the Fremnik Slayer dungeon.
What is our best
pickaxes?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Prif is our Prif and Taranwin are our best skilling choice.
So it depends on like what do you mean when you say words. So the main things that are drawing me to want to take Taranin is you have a very easy prayer solve in Prifthenas.
Yeah, sure.
With the cleansing crystals, you've got a decent agility course if you need to do agility.
The other thing that comes up in my mind with that is Cruosour and all the butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on that, but people did like that last time. That is a thing you could do. You've got the one of 2 construction stores, or let me rephrase it. You've got one of 2 stonemason stores. So if you want to do any construction shenanigans with magic stones or marble blocks, you need either
Prif or Fremnik,
Fremnik,
yeah.
Right. So, you've got those are the main things. Like there are a lot of options for training skills in Prif, but they're not great. Like you can train mining and smithing there. It's not great. You do have access like harps. We didn't talk about harps earlier. Harps got buffed.
Harps got buffed more than we were told they were going to be.
Yeah. So just as a quick aside, harps got increased chance of success for getting harmonic dust, and because of the way that the mechanics of harps work, they only go out of tune if you fail to get dust. So if you have sufficiently high crafting level,
oh, that's what they did.
And if you have sufficient, either you've got the Artificer measure or on the Voice of Saren, you can just have 100% success rate. And that gives you 120k XP per hour, and it's a 5-tick action, so that's 1.2k dust an hour. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not great. It's not a great crafting method training,
but it's something that can augment your Tyranid pick if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Better for getting dust.
Yeah, getting dust is a lot better.
ARPs.
So, overall, a good change.
Kandarin, player-owned farm, Hall of Memories, deep sea fishing.
Yeah.
Kandarin actually has a lot of stuff. Kandarin, I think, is a secret pick.
Kandarin is always a good skilling region, even in OS, and even more so for us with the divination stuff, the farm, and deep sea fishing. It's basically a farming solve if you move through it and you're okay with doing your farming that way.
Yeah, I So one of the things that is like a big unknown for me in my planning right now. So I am approaching leagues very differently from most people, because my primary goal is getting 200 mil in all skills. Ideally, I'll be the first person to do that again this year. Which means that I'm focused on skilling and not PVM, and I need to make sure that I've got like a couple of really good methods. I completely forgot that the player-owned farm was in Kandarin.
But
so I haven't been thinking about Kandarin,
Anachronia.
but I've been thinking about So I mean, I may not need player-owned farms, but so one of the things that was really strong last time around is that we had infinite casts of advanced time, which led to some fun shenanigans. Player-owned farms being one of those, archaeology research missions being another one of those. So if you're taking Kandarin, that's the thing to look out for this year. One of the things that I am actually really valuing and maybe overvaluing in Kandarin is the Fletching, the Fletching Guild, the Ranging Guild.
Yeah.
Because it's the one shop in the game that sells arrow shafts.
Yep.
That's what I did last time.
Which makes a very easy construction solve. If you've got even if you don't have production master or whatever the equivalent is going to be called this year for completing all of the skilling actions in one go.
Yeah.
So
fletching is so fast.
What you're illustrating here is why you kind of need to decide what your goal is to begin with. Are you just going in to have a fun time? Are you going in to get dragon as fast as you can? Are you going in to get all 200 mil as you are? Are you going in to do PVM feats that you might not have done before? So there's a whole suite of things that you have to consider when choosing regions. And, based off of this, I think maybe we're lucky that so much of our stuff is concentrated within Mistlin on that. So I guess the meme regions in this case are going to be Fremennik and maybe Mauritania. So Mauritania is what, Araxor, Slayer Tower,
Blood Runes.
I'll say Rise of the Six was nice last year because of early easy tier 90 melee armor.
Right.
But that's fine. Yeah, I mean, Mauritania, mostly the thing is Araxor, and I think we've gotten a lot more variety for like decent starting like tier 90 type gear.
Yeah.
So
and one of the things I did on the last OS League that I think was a very smart choice for me is that there's specific content that I wanted to have no part of, and in the OS League, two of those pieces of content were the Squirk minigame in the desert and the agility, not the agility, the thieving pyramid stuff in Sophidim. I wanted no part in that, and I really didn't have much affinity towards the raid in the desert region. So that's again why I say if there's definitely content that you don't like if you don't like Dominion Tower, it's probably not a good reason to choose the desert.
I mean, why are you doing Dominion Tower on leagues anyway?
There's probably a task for it.
I don't think there was. Well, I mean, there was area tasks.
Complete like the Desert Harder Elite or something like that.
Yeah, the area tasks were a task, but
yeah,
there's other tasks.
You have to do them all, Jones. You have to do them all.
You can't do them all.
I didn't.
You can't do them all. You can't have every region.
Okay. Combat blessings. I want to talk about that because they're framing this in as being a choice between balance, chaos, and what was the other one? I got
order. Yeah, it's the Saradomin and Zamorak Gothics.
I just hope that at some point it's going to provide, meaningful choices, that it allows you to have a power fantasy that is slightly different in each of the combat skills. Because the only place you got a combat fantasy last time was in the melee combat skill or combat type.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what all it ends up being. Do we have?
We don't
know what the blessings are yet.
We don't know what the blessings are. I was curious to see. There's like 8 tiers or something, right? So
yeah, there's 8 tiers. 2 of them are chosen for you.
2 of them are okay. Yeah.
Because the way it works is you pick each tier. You pick one of order, chaos, or balance, and at 4 and 8. Whatever you picked in 1 to 3 and 5 to 7, that
determines what you get.
Yeah, they auto choose your path based on your prior choices.
Yeah, that's a lot of different combat relics. I mean, one of the things that people complained about last year was we had combat 2 tiers of combat relics, and one was like, what style are you using, and then the final one was like an actually meaningful choice.
Yeah.
So I'm certain that we're going to get some less impactful ones and some more impactful ones in here, but I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out.
One thing I'm very curious about is how necromancy is going to work, because I was running through this earlier. Necromancy gear is going to be ass with region locking.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they auto-completed all of the killy tasks.
That would certainly make it a lot easier.
But
I mean, it would make it easier, yeah.
But it's still sourcing the components. That's difficult.
Yeah, that's true, because you're going to need Kandarin for farm
Asgarnia for God Wars.
Yeah.
Asgarnia, if you don't... Yeah, for the subjugation. You need Wilderness or... is it Kandarin? For the thread... that would be in Kandarin.
Kandarin, yeah. Yeah, it's just Kandarin. I don't think the Wilderness guy sells it. Bandit Camp.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Does he?
Yeah. Gives you 50K cheaper at that store.
Okay. Well, yeah, like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Can I just aside real quick?
Yeah.
The removal of the demonic skull has been a pain in my butt, because now I have to go and actually toggle on PvP to go to the bandit camp shop to buy stuff from that store, and then I need to remember to toggle off PvP.
I mean, do you though?
I mean, you go into the wilderness for clues sometimes. Well, but
I guess where I'm going with this is with all of the thorough kneecapping that we've been doing to PvP, is anyone even still bothering?
I mean, no, but God forbid, right? You teleport into the wilderness and somebody PKs you and you lose your bow of the last guardian, or you lose your easy K and you lose your stack of 2,000 caskets or whatever.
I want to ask a question here. It says at tiers 4 and 8, you unlock the God tier blessing. Yes. You choose 2 or more blessings of chaos, you unlock the chaos god. If you choose 2 or more blessings of balance, or 1 from each path, you unlock the balance one. And then 2, you get the order one. So I guess if you dilute yourself, you get forced into balance?
Yeah. If you take 1 of each, because you've got the 3, and then the 4th one is chosen for you. So of those 3, if you take 1, 1, 1, you get balance. If you take 2 of any one, then you get that one.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
So if you can dilute yourself a little bit and still stay on your chaos or order path.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what these end up being.
All right.
Yeah.
And of course, what everybody has been waiting for, and what begins the Theorycrafting, the Tier 1 Relics, already a more meaningful choice than last year. Survivalist doubles resources gained from mining, fishing, woodcutting, and archaeology. Excavation hotspots also provides you the tools for mining, fishing, and woodcutting. And with that, you'll also get the Survivalist bag, which is a storage container that holds up to 150 of 3 different types of logs, ores, or fish at once. And then that's it for that one. And, this is kind of like what we had last year with the tool one that I think most people went for. But the thing is,
I feel like
this starts to fall off as you get into the 90s and beyond, I think.
Yeah, I feel like for the Tier 1 relics this time, they basically took the excavator relic that everyone picked last time and just split it in half.
Well, yeah, so the excavator, one of the things that I really liked about excavator that is not present here is it auto smelted your bars. Maybe we'll see that in a later perk.
Yeah,
that was
actually really nice because you could just mine adamant and you didn't need to worry about mining.
Oh, and it was great for primal too.
It was really great for primal.
It was excellent for primal.
Endless harvest straight out of old school. Resources collected through archaeology, farming, fishing, mining, and woodcutting are sent directly to the bank or metal bank. On top of that, fishing, mining, and woodcutting have a 10% chance to upgrade resources to the next tier, helping you gather higher level materials as you train. And with that, resources rarely deplete. You'll move between fishing spots, and your character will resume gathering as soon as a tree regrows. Here's a big one with this one. Miners benefit from permanently full stamina, while archaeologists gain the benefit of all these active time sprites. I like the way this sounds, specifically this mining benefit boost right here. Though I might still be biasing myself because I took Endless Harvest on the OS League.
If you're a Giga AFK gamer, this is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So then
I'm not interested in this at all.
Then the question comes down, does the tools from Survivalist, if you're not interested in our next choice, do the tools from Survivalist and double resources make sense for you compared to Golden Touch, which touches agility and thieving? Golden Hawk boots, tier 60 hybrid boots, passively award agility XP while you're on the move, skilling or using ultimate abilities. You also have the chance to obtain Golden Hawk feathers, which can be converted into prayer XP or opt for a sizable coin reward. Also doubles agility course XP, preventing all course failures, and rewards coins based on your agility level. Thieves will receive guaranteed success on all pickpocketing attempts, triple loot, and all rewards are automatically noted. While stalls never deplete, safes can be opened without cooldowns, and repeated thieving actions continue automatically, allowing for uninterrupted training. And all coins achieved through thieving are granted a 100x multiplier, while chests and safe can reward additional bundles of herbs and potion ingredients sent directly to your bank. Oh boy.
I missed that last line there.
That's
last
a doozy.
half of that. Chests and safe rewarded bundles of herbs and potion ingredients. I don't think that's sufficient for my needs because again, 200 mil herblore is a big ask. Yeah. But that's actually really nice.
So if you're looking at this from a regular perspective, then this solves agility, thieving, prayer, GP, and also
at least early GP if we don't get an infinite GP later on.
Well, I think that this is going to be a lot with that 100 XP multiplier when you look at some of the other NPCs that are out there. And it's like, what do you need GP for, really? Unless you're doing that expensive construction training.
Yeah, expensive construction, expensive fletching, expensive prayer if you took Tyrannin.
Yeah.
Summoning, it requires some amount of money, but...
And the question is, will the herbs and potion ingredients be enough of a solve for herb lore to get to 99 and maybe 50 mil?
Maybe, I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
Who
Depends.
knows?
Maybe
We're not
depends
gonna.
on
We're
what.
unfortunately we're not gonna know until
Depends on what
until
other
people are
relics
taking
you
it.
get.
Until
Depends on what regions you take.
yeah. So
Yeah.
If you don't take Anachronia for Herbie Werby,
but see, I can farm my own herbs. It's just a question of getting the seeds.
Yeah, which you can get with thieving anyway.
and mostly do.
This to me seems too good for me to not pass up on it. And Shane, you and I were talking earlier about this because like Survivalist does sound really good. You were saying that in OSRS the equivalent, you got double XP for the double resources gained.
Yeah.
So you're gaining twice as much experience as you would for all of your gathering skills, which is really nice. Gathering
like a potential
skills tend to be the slower
32x
ones.
XP multiplier at the end of the day.
Yeah, because we're expecting a 16x like we had last time. And the tools are really nice. But then I realized with the regions that I was picking, my best agility course would probably be the Dorkish Con agility course. And training to 200 mil agility, even with 16 time rates on the Dorkish Con agility course, does not sound like a good time.
Oh, see, I think you should go for it. Just add in a little extra flex.
No, I couldn't. I can't. No. I really enjoyed not having to train agility last time. I ran some laps because I mean they were tasks for running laps, and it was a good early money maker. But I mean the thieving stuff looks. I mean everybody more or less knows that thieving is giga busted, but
Sure.
like triple thieving loot sounds like really giga busted. I pulled up a list of all of the relevant thieving, all the pickpocket targets that might be good. Like there's some weird shenanigans that you can pull with like, oh, you get chimes from you get chimes from Menophyte offerings, which you get from pickpocketing Menophos market guards, and you can use that to buy experience lamps in all of the arc skills, which includes like I mean agility if you didn't take that or divination.
But that relies on a desert.
Prayer.
That relies on a desert pick.
It does rely on a desert pick, but I think a lot of people are going to pick desert.
Really?
I think
God
so.
Wars
Yeah,
2.
God Wars 2 is going to be pretty important
yeah.
stepping stone.
Right.
So
we're assuming you'll also get Mazcab in the desert.
Mazcab in the desert, which is really important for me. Yep.
Yeah.
Being able to buy infinite amounts of super sets is like really shouldn't be underestimated.
No.
Even just from like a potion perspective, that's going to be really good.
Let's also remember that if you don't take Tyrannon, you're not getting the advanced overload types.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the elder overloads are not. I mean they're better than normal overloads, but like they shouldn't be meaningfully better.
No,
I didn't find them necessary in the last league.
Right, and in a league you accept what corners you're going to cut bigger corners elsewhere. So
yeah, and ideally the combat blessings are going to be so substantial that like who cares if you're getting an extra +3 attack or a +3 strength.
You're going to be so overpowered.
You're just constantly using special attacks or whatever the hell they're going to throw at us. You always have 100% adrenaline or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. And I also just want to, say that I think the most important thing to do going into this is to have a plan of what your ultimate end goal is, and then to know around that what kind of content you like playing and what kind you don't. Like I know right now, unless somebody can make a really, really good argument to me, I think Desert is out. As is Fremennik and probably Mauritania.
You don't want to do a Masket?
Not really.
Fair enough.
I mean, I can do a Masket, but I'm more worried about the other stuff in the desert, if I'm being honest.
So you don't want your DRLs?
What are you thinking, Shane, for your 3 regions right now?
If I was to pick right now, I know I need a combat pick in here somewhere. But I'm leaning towards having some either Kandarin or either Tyranwin on the skilling side. I know that much. I don't know what I want for the combat stuff yet, or even what combat type I want to go with. A lot of that is going to depend on what these combat blessings look like. If ranged isn't, something that 2% of the people pick, maybe we can use that this time and get by with, just crafted ranged gear. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I need more information if I'm being honest, but I know I definitely want either Tyranwin or Kandarin in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. I know we could have some amazing things happening with early game dungeoneering in the wilderness, so that might be something people want. Sir Dones, do you have any thoughts about early region picks?
Well, one thing that I'm curious about is how Invention is going to be handled.
Yeah.
Because, like Lemon, I think you and I were talking about this earlier. If you don't have Asgarnia, unless they do something funny, Invention is just straight impossible.
Well, that's also the same kind of thing for archaeology too. How do you do archaeology if you don't take desert?
You
just do third age iron.
You do third age iron.
I guess.
I mean, like realistically,
level
you put
20.
you put a skill lamp in it, and then
right. Well, yeah, because
question mark.
I mathed that out a little bit earlier. Assuming 4x XP at tier 1, the archaeology tutorial will get you like level 12, almost to 13. So from there, yeah, you put a lamp in that. You spend some time at third age iron. You can get to 20 in Infernal Source pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be more limited, depending on what you do, but
such is the nature.
Well,
such is the way of things.
I think after the show, the Notion document for this league is starting listing off everything that I want and all the different potential regions and relics there with that. So
I think to answer your question, I don't really know yet because my only goal is points. My goal is going to be the same as it was last year, which is just I want to be able to buy out the reward shop off my own back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that in terms of getting a task list, what information do you think they're going to provide us prior to?
Before launch, we're going to have easy and medium tasks, and then the rest will come when the league drops.
Yeah, I mean, well, last year they gave us the hard and elites like the morning of.
Yeah.
Right. We had like 2 hours before or something like that. Yeah. One of the things that's on my to-do list for this weekend is to things will necessarily be changing between what the tasks that was last year and what it is this year, but like that's my best starting point right now.
Generally, once things settle, the tasks around easy and medium can be built so that a starting run in a specific league will work with only minor alterations. So if there was a starting run that worked quite well last time, there's a very real chance that it'll work well this time and probably be even better now because we have Havenhide.
Yeah, I mean, the starting run last time was basically like run everywhere and do all the easy stuff. But everywhere is going to be a much more limited scope. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
All right. Well, we'll have more as the information comes. I think they said it was going to be the 25th we start getting the information. Day of
28th.
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 Okay.
28th is Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You gotta wait.
There is so much information to get through.
Yeah,
and
we've got 7 tiers of relics,
Tuesday?
8 tiers of combat blessings.
That's two weeks for everything.
And I'm
That's
questioning
not a lot of time.
And I'm questioning how we do the Theorycrafting episode because we normally record on Thursdays, which leaves the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before of information drops.
Yeah, by the time we've recorded, edited, and released an episode, Friday information will be out, and everything we said will probably be wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you theory craft this one? And that's why we last time for the OS one just recorded on Sunday. We might just do that again today, and become everyone's ride home from church. So
if we're recording on Sunday, you're gonna edit and put it out on Sunday too.
I mean, I could live stream it.
Yeah, we could do that. That's true.
We could do the you keep threatening this 24-hour Christmas live stream or whatever. We could do, or New Year's live stream, whatever it is. We can do that 24-hour League theory crafting live stream.
Before we go, what are we thinking for our tier 1s right now? Right now, I'm between Golden Touch and Endless Harvest.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning Golden Touch, but it'll really depend on what comes next.
I have a very difficult time seeing a world where I take anything other than Golden Touch.
Sure, I mean, free agility.
Yeah,
and practically free prayer.
Yeah, I think prayer to 99 will be pretty free, but I am concerned about prayer past 99. But I've got some stuff that I'm depending on like how broken the combat relics are, will depend on like. Assuming like main game kill per hour, I'm looking at like 1.7 mil per hour XP per hour hard mode Carapack. I'm probably not going to be as well geared, but like our combat relic's going to be busted. So like, it's certainly not Tyrannin. I was hoping that I could take Prifdinus and get 200 mil prayer in like,
but probably not
3 hours. But
yeah.
Oh well.
Well, we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on this, and of course, stay with us for all the discussions as they come. We'll discuss the reveals week of, and then we'll bring it all together for a massive theory crafting episode before the league drops, either the week of or the Sunday, depending on what suits our fancy and timing on that. But is anybody else here a big fan of Monopoly like I am?
No.
I mean, no.
No.
I don't.
Not a very good game.
I don't hate Monopoly, but
I love making deals
a game that exists
when people go to the bathroom.
Of course you do.
This game is meant for me. I see it's expensive. I don't know if I'm gonna.
It is expensive.
Get it just because of the cost, but I mean, it's almost like a collector's item in that case, right?
It is, and that's basically what it is.
It seems not great.
I mean, I have no room to judge. I own a couple of novelty Monopoly sets.
Oh, so. I know.
We've
me
all
too.
bought one at some point. But
my two favorite ones are the Canadian one and the Star Trek one.
I have one. It's not Monopoly branded. It's a knockoff, but I have one that is actually of my hometown.
Oh wow! I didn't know they did that.
It wasn't Monopoly branded. It's just like, I don't think they got a license from Hasbro. I think they just made it sold it for charity.
And see, I think these guys actually did here, which is amazing.
Oh, they did. They did. There's the Hasbro logo prominently on the board.
The token pieces are Bob the Cat, the Dwarf Multi-Cannon, a cabbage, the Rune Helmet, the Party Hat, and a Dragon Boot.
I'll be brave here. I'll say the thing.
Say the thing.
They're saying that this is a RuneScape Monopoly board, but like really, it's primarily an old school RuneScape Monopoly board. And there's nothing on there that is specifically OSRS that isn't also RS2 or RS3. Like all the locations are shared between the games and stuff, but like the models are the OSRS ones, and like while I understand it, it is also just like you couldn't put like a different token, like make one of the character pieces for us. Like
I've honestly been noticing that with a lot of the merch. Like the keychains made by Angelscapes. Okay, sure. There's lots of RS3 stuff in those, but like the plushies, the vinyl figurines, that's all old school. There's nothing RS3 there.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, the best way to win Monopoly is to go for the orange pieces and the red pieces.
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
because those are the ones that you're statistically most likely to land on.
Exactly, because of the jail square.
Yep.
And do not use the free parking as a money gathering spot, because if you give money away at free parking, your game will take forever. That is not what the rule says to do. It is literally a free square.
I thought that was the point of Monopoly, that it takes forever, and by the end of it, you hate everyone.
No.
It's like Mario Party.
I mean, yeah, kind of. We've reinvented the landlord's game.
But there is also,
it's come full circle.
In the back page of any Monopoly manual that they have, there is a quick start strategy that they claim will allow you to play the game within 90 minutes. That involves handing out and randomly shuffling the deed deck so that everybody gets, I think it's like three of them or something or other.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but there's apparently a Lord of the Rings branded Monopoly game that has a special mechanic where the one ring piece moves around the board, and when it does a full circle, the game ends.
Yes, I had a copy of this at one point in my life.
Nice.
There's also
I remember there being a ring. I don't remember the mechanic.
There's also a card game Monopoly called Monopoly Deal that's designed to be played in a more condensed setting for it too. So the idea of, multi-day long Monopolies do not need to actually happen, but I don't know. We'll see.
I've never played a multi-day Monopoly. I have played several hours of Monopoly.
Okay, yeah. I think my record is like 2.5 sessions over one summer we did back in the day.
That's too much Monopoly.
That's too much. That's too much.
I have nothing specifically against Monopoly, but that is too much Monopoly.
I do, and that's all. But it's also still too much Monopoly.
So what's the likelihood that we get, the ability to do something like this online by getting like 6 people together that have the board and just having like a communal live stream of this? Maybe that's also for the Christmas thing.
I mean, that would be pretty doable.
Or you could get somebody to make it in
in tabletop sim.
Or just that's an idea. Or just take a picture of have a live stream of the board and everybody sees that too. But you can tell there's some ideas that are already going up here for that 24-hour Christmas New Year's live stream of RSBANDB update.
Or when is it due to ship? October?
Yeah.
Darn, I was going to say you could play it at RuneFest, but probably not.
I honestly don't know what kind of situation I'm going to be in for that, because every RuneFest I've been to, I've been just horribly jet lagged.
Well, yeah, I mean,
have you considered
it's like a 12-hour flight?
Coming like a week ahead of time?
No. In any case, with that, let's move on to our achievements for this week. We only have a few of them this week. Nathan got 120 strength and attack on the 22nd. Juan Peru got the corporeal puppy and the out-of-body experience feat on July 20th, finishing off
very nice
Corp, which, how do you feel about that one, Zerdones?
Very happy for him. I hope he got the trophy too. He never has to go back.
Yeah. And Snail Mage got a shadow die on July 18th.
Mad lad.
Big spoon.
Alrighty. Pick of the week. I asked these guys, do you guys want something that's Star Trek or something web game? And we went Star Trek this week with the Star Trek Captain's Log search. And this website came to me, not necessarily because of the Star Trek aspect of it, just because of the web design associated with it that somebody did with a design focused around the Star Trek LCARS computer style. But
it does a good job of that.
Yeah, it really does. And it's actually readable too, which is great, with the flavor text and whatnot off to the sides of it. But what it lets you do is it lets you search by series. It lets you search by who was giving the log in terms of, which of the characters it was. All 41 of them are a potential list here that you can search through. Then it's got all the different captains, all the different log types: acting captain's log, ambassador's log, ship's log, security log, so on and so forth, and lets you filter down based off of that, but the thing most people will probably want is straight from the series. So if you wanted to go from Voyager and see everything that was mentioned there, you can search by star date, relevance, or air date, and then you just enter that in the search field in order to filter it down. And they even have random records that you can just pull up here on this. What episode was this, talking about the Doctor's dignity? Lieutenant Taurus has restored our warp drive in less than a week. The Doctor's dignity, however, may take a little longer. He hasn't left sickbase once since he returned to the ship. Oh, 7/21 reconnaissance man. Okay.
Didn't Voyager kind of just steal the dignity of everyone on that show?
More or less. But
definitely Jerry Ryan's.
Yeah, that was mid-90s TV production at its worst.
Who
7 of 9 in the cat suit.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought her in.
Ryan is the actress who played 7 of 9.
They brought her in because they were having problems with the other young female actress that played Kess, Jennifer Lien. So they brought Jerry Ryan in instead as the female eye candy.
Yeah, okay. Jennifer Lien is kind of a sad story.
Yeah.
Robert Beltran was also really in an awkward spot on that show, Chakotay.
Oh, I didn't hear about him. What was his story?
Well, first off, he hated working on the show, and every year he would ask for more money because he wanted them to fire him, and they kept giving him more money. He hated the show so much. One of the he hated the writing generally. One of the big things people complain about Voyager is the writing is so inconsistent.
Yeah, it is.
But for Chakotay specifically, like, his character is just a bizarre mishmash of Native American stereotypes, because the show had a cultural advisor who was supposed to ensure that Chakotay's character was like respectful and culturally accurate, and he was a liar.
Right, but and see, I picked up on that. Like, it pulls from so many different types of North American indigenous, whether it be from up here in Canada, in the US, or even into Mexico and Central America.
Yeah, I guess, like, you can make a redemptive reading that he's like in the far future where we've become more enlightened and the cultures have merged a little bit more, that there is less distinction. But it's, I mean, watching it as a 20th century viewer, it's just a really bizarre. It would be like if, like, imagine if Scotty started talking about how much he really enjoyed the Blarney Stone.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
Scots and Irish, yeah.
Yeah, Scots and Irish. I was reaching for something English, but I went Irish first, so whatever.
In any case, let's just say you wanted to filter down to TNG, then you could do that as well. And it even pulled up one here from one of the most classic TNG episodes, season 2, episode 9, The Measure of a Man. So all of the logs like that are characterized, but my understanding of the website was that it was done primarily as a web design experiment more than anything else. But it's just neat to see this in this format and the design that the person chose for this. So that's the Star Trek Captain's Log search at johnwhite.uk.
I have to ask, why Captain's Logs? Like, I get transcripts. I get behind wanting to have a searchable transcript database, but why just Captain's Logs?
Of this website or on the show?
Like in the website. Like, why is this just Captain's Logs?
No, there's more than that. There's the first officer's logs. There's the helmsman logs.
Okay. But, like, it's not full episode transcripts.
No.
It's specifically, well, I mean, that already exists. There are already sites that do that.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know.
Like I said, it was
as a design experiment. It's cool.
Yeah, design experiment first.
As a functional website. Why? I don't get it.
Maybe we need something like this for quests on RS.
I mean, we can already search on the wiki by transcript.
Yeah.
I mean, I
some
don't know.
sort
I've
of
only done that a few
character
times, and I haven't been
exposition
super
thing. But
impressed with the transcript.
in any case, that's the pick of the week this week. So that brings us to the end of this episode of RSBANDB Update. Next week we'll be in, of course, for the GE improvements as they arrive, and hopefully don't break anything. I'm looking forward to seeing what my rares, like my Santa hats, are actually worth in the modern day, if they actually update accordingly to what we're expecting. But always great having you on, Lemon. Thank you for being here and providing the insights.
Yeah, always happy to be here. It's always fun.
Excellent. And of course, Zerdones, everyone's favorite Eastern Canadian.
Heck yeah.
And I'll be the favorite Western Canadian.
All right, we can split that difference. We never did settle. We never did settle who was the favorite overall.
No, we didn't.
Is there a Central Canadian
and I bet
too,
that will come out.
That
will come out in the polling over time. But if you guys want,
I mean, what even is Central Canada? It's just Manitoba.
Well, my definition of Central Canada, if I'm being 100% honest, is basically Manitoba and Ontario.
It would probably help if I knew Canadian geography at all for this conversation.
Like if we were to like put it into West and Central, you can do that. But I just think West and East works a lot better.
I mean, yes, it does, and yeah, I would probably support your definition.
Yeah,
we're much more I mean, I would arguably even lump Quebec in there. Quebec is kind of its own thing, though.
Yeah. The question is, does Manitoba fit as part of the West?
I mean, does Manitoba fit in as anything? It's the old Rhino Party joke again, right?
I've never
Manitoba.
I've never actually been there.
The world's largest parking lot.
I've never actually been there.
I've been.
Okay.
I have. I've been to Winnipeg. It's fine.
That's in Canada.
Yeah.
I know Winnipeg.
Yeah. Okay, good.
It's where Winnie the Pooh is named for.
Okay.
And as the tradition goes, when we're off the track, we know what that means.
Yes, we are off track. I will tell this story in the post show.
Yeah, that's right. And then we'll give it to Patreon members because I'm sure it's a longer story.
Or, you could probably just look it up on Wikipedia. That's a thing.
Anyways, thank you so much for being here, everybody. If you want full transcripts and more, you can find all those at update.show. You can also subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast listening service. We're on all the big ones: Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. And we're also on YouTube as well, youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe there. It greatly helps the channel out. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube and you're thinking of something, drop it in the comments, because comments are nice too and they help engagement. But with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.